CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Air Transat passengers are bracing for disruptions this week, 2 days out from a potential pilot strike. With the latest on those negotiations and the expected impact at London's airport, here's Rita Ismail.
2 Air Transat flights took off from London's international airport to the Caribbean over the weekend. A looming pilot strike could impact those passengers.
The flights this time of year are always full, and our sun destinations are extremely popular, both with Air Transat and Sunwing, so they're usually full flights. So it could be upwards of 180 plus people on each flight that would be affected if it does get canceled.
In a statement to CTV News, the airline says negotiations continued throughout the night and that progress was made, adding the airline hopes to reach an agreement and it is now up to the union to consider their generous offer.
I'm glad that they are characterizing their offer as generous, but really that requires scrutiny and analysis on both sides and compromise. And that's what we're doing. We are working through all of the outstanding issues at the table. I think oversimplifying it doesn't really help anybody.
Air Transat says to date, all flights have been on schedule and they are now launching a special program to return travelers early, adding 4 extra flights to bring home passengers originally scheduled for December 10th. Meanwhile, the Airline Pilots Association has officially set the stage for a strike, issuing a 72-hour notice. The union says pilots have been negotiating for nearly a year, seeking industry standard pay, benefits, and job security to replace their 2015 agreement. Earlier this month, 99% of Air Transat's 750 pilots voted to authorize a strike.
We don't want to go on strike. We want to work. We absolutely care about people and where they want to go.
Labor relations expert Garrett Harvey from Western University says both sides have a lot to lose.
Neither party wants to go on strike. It's not good for pilots. It's not good for the airline. So if I was a bet-in person, I'm not. But if I was, I would see this being resolved prior to that deadline. It's clearly having an impact now because people are aware, they're frightened about, possibly they're put off from taking flights with Air Transat.
If a strike happens, there's little the airports can do. Passengers are encouraged to monitor the Air Transat website or app for updates. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
York Regional Police have released new video showing the moments gunfire broke out at LHSC's Victoria Campus Emergency Department. The shooting happened last December. A series of short videos shows a person running toward the hospital doors, someone from a vehicle firing bullets in their direction, sending people inside the waiting room scrambling. York police say they've arrested 13 members of an organized criminal network through their investigation, laying more than 150 charges connected to violent crimes all over the province.
These acts were brazen, they were brutal, and they're completely unacceptable. When it comes to committing violence, these suspects certainly did not discriminate.
Police say the charges stem from a nearly year-long joint operation called Project Wrangler. A 19-year-old man and 16-year-old boy have been charged with attempted murder in connection to the LHSC shooting. The clock is ticking for the future of the CAMI Assembly plant in Ingersoll and its 1,200 employees. Union leaders say high-level talks are underway, though, with a plan in the works to keep some workers on the job. With more on those options and the timeline, here's Sean Irvin.
It has been a whirlwind for union leaders fighting to secure the future of GM CAMI Automotive.
It has been a tough time talking about your plant when so much hangs in the balance,
including the livelihoods of more than 1,000 unionized workers. Next week, they will learn more about future options on the table. The union says the plan will include 26 weeks of pay for those not recalled within the next month. A small number of workers will be retained to monitor the plant. Other options include retirement and severance packages. But perhaps the most significant news from the union is the potential for a new deal to retain more employees. Just how many more is unclear. CTV News reached out to plant chair Mike Van Bokel to learn more, but for now, this is all he has offered publicly to his members.
We are currently in pretty big talks with GM right now that I cannot comment on, but hope to have an announcement hopefully by next week to keep some of our members working.
Workers are being told to make their choice by January 7th. The fast-moving pace matches the current environment of the auto sector, according to a supply chain management expert at the Ivey School of Business. Fraser Johnson is blunt in his assessment.
The trade battle that we're having with the U.S. represents an existential threat to our auto industry and Canada as we know it today.
He concedes it's tough news for CAMI workers and those at supplying plants.
The problem with Ingersoll is that GM is hesitant to make a product allocation decision because they don't know what the future looks like.
Still, Johnson, a self-described optimist, believes GM, Ford, Toyota, and Honda will do everything they can to keep their plants operating in Canada. But there comes a point.
Do you ever see a scenario where they'd mothball this plant and just walk away?
Well, if I could phrase it this way, Sean, I think that General Motors would reluctantly do that if the economics just didn't make sense.
Ultimately, Johnson believes the CAMI plant and its workforce will remain viable after the current period of turmoil passes.
There's no reason why that plant can't be productive and profitable for General Motors, but it's just the economic uncertainty that's creating the problem right now.
Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Officials at London City Hall may mandate a new cost when buying a home, requiring the weeping tile system be disconnected, which could cost $5,000 to $10,000. As Daryl Newcomb reports, that would affect upwards of 50,000 homes.
It feels like a new land transfer tax for London.
Several councillors uncomfortable accepting a recent study recommending City Hall mandate the disconnection of weeping tiles from the sewage system whenever a house is sold. The goal, reduce sewage overflows into the river as well as basement flooding caused when stormwater overwhelms the capacity of London's sewage treatment plants. Mandating the $5,000 to $10,000 disconnection during a home sale would be a first in Canada.
It depends on the age of the city and the age of their infrastructure, but we would certainly be a leader on this if we went forward. We're talking about an affordability crisis with housing right now, and we're saying that a homeowner with a home that is connected to the weeping tile system could pay between $5,000 and $10,000 extra.
Connecting a weeping tile system directly to the city's sanitary sewer pipe was commonplace in the past. In fact, City Hall estimates there's still about 50,000 houses built before 1985 that are connected.
This is a big source of that unwanted water. And at a rate of 70 to 90 connections done per year through the opt-in program, that's not really making much of a dent on those 50,000.
The proposal would require the new homeowner disconnect the house from the city's sewage system and obtain a certificate of compliance from City Hall. Implementing the program would require staff for inspections, administration, and enforcement.
I am concerned about the reception that this is going to have on Londoners who are being told this is being mandated. And that the cost is now being borne by them.
Much, if not all of my ward would probably be impacted by it. I'm still willing to look at the options. I'm not really willing to just accept it outright at this moment.
I think it's better for us if we have infrastructure that is at the level of 2025, especially with climate change and our increase in flooding risk.
The committee voted to refer the matter to a future meeting in March, so staff can report on the other options that were considered.
See all the alternative strategies outside of the one that was recommended so that we can then hear all sides of the discussion.
City staff will consider the referral at its meeting on December 16th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
London's mayor has joined other big city mayors calling on the Ontario government to declare a state of emergency when it comes to addiction and homelessness issues. With more, here's Jerry Dewan.
Josh Morgan says more must be done to help cities meet the challenges of addictions and homelessness. That's why he seconded a motion at the Big City Mayor's Caucus calling for the province to declare a state of emergency.
We're all pulling in the same direction, but it's still not enough. There are still more people falling into homelessness than we are putting into housing. And that is the true emergency because on the streets in this province, people will freeze this winter. Some people will die.
In southeast London, land is being prepared for 60 micro-shelter units, which will have on-site supports. In locations across the province, municipalities are unveiling their own approaches to addressing shelter and housing issues, like Project Tiny Hope in St. Thomas. Morgan believes having the province declare a state of emergency will improve and accelerate responses.
It elevates us to one of the highest priorities in the province, right? It signals to the federal government that we need assistance in this province. It allows multiple ministries to come together. It allows partnerships to form. It allows for procurement to happen on a quicker process.
On Sunday, the Middlesex London Health Unit issued an extreme cold alert that prompted the city to open a warming centre here at the Boyle Memorial Community Centre, giving people on the streets a chance to get out of the cold overnight. But that kind of emergent response comes at a cost.
After all of the agencies who are doing incredible work in our city have maxed their capacity in their spaces, we had to surge to another 56 spaces. So having these additional resources online at the expense of property taxpayers is absolutely necessary to pull people out of the cold, but ultimately it is not something that is sustainable in the long term for municipal governments to fund. It's not what property taxes were meant to do.
Chris Zoroyak lives in Old East Village, where the Boyle Community Centre is located. He supports using it for a warming centre.
Some of them, need more, but right now, this is nothing. Just to open a community center.
But Zoroyak also wants to see more done.
We need to do it. I mean, housing is expensive, and it's not their fault that they've found themselves in this predicament. We can't make the assumption that it is all their fault.
Morgan stresses the motion isn't intended to be a criticism of the province's efforts, but the big city mayors note that municipal governments absorb more than half of the cost of the $4.1 billion spent on housing and homelessness projects in 2024. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
A house exploded in Elgin County late last week, bringing in provincial fire investigators to figure out what caused it. Because, as Brent Lail reports, as far as firefighters can tell, there weren't any flames involved.
Provincial fire investigators examine a propane tank next to what's left of a house in southeast Elgin County. Friday morning, the home in the municipality of Bayham exploded.
Almost like a sonic boom. It rattled the windows in the house.
Mayor Ed Ketchabaugh lives just about 700 meters away and called it in to the fire department.
We arrived, and as you can see behind us, we had a house that exploded, but the unusual event was there's absolutely no fire to this. Due to the explosion, the OFM must be contacted. They're on scene right now along with the TSSA. I've seen a house explode before, but there was fire there too. And this is very unusual that it blew itself out.
Chief Baronick says 2 stations and 15 firefighters responded. But when they arrived and realized there was no flames, they quickly dispersed to preserve the scene for the OFM.
What we will be doing is a methodical approach, and what that means is we'll be fine combing through everything. We'll be turning everything to make sure that we can find the origin of the cause. We have brought in heavy equipment to help and assist our investigators.
Mayor Ketchabaugh says the home had been in his family over the years, and new owners took possession December 1st.
I've never met the neighbors, so we don't know what's going on. But when you go down and you're expecting, wow, the house is flat. There's no fire. What's going on here?
The one reason that the house is still intact was that we were able to contact the owners and it was vacant at the time. Therefore, we were not concerned about searching for people.
The Technical Standards Safety Authority is on site to aid the OFM with their investigation.
Once the excavator does start, removing parts for our investigators to get there, it's hard to determine, but until we methodically approach the scene, find out everything that we need to, trying to determine the origin of the cause.
Brent Lail, CTV News.
Radio and journalism students at Fanshawe College are petitioning for a partial tuition refund, with the future of the campus radio station in jeopardy. According to the students, they were promised 4 semesters of hands-on learning with a CRTC licensed radio station. Earlier this year, Fanshawe announced the school could no longer financially support the station, and if no partner was found, it would have to come off the air by the end of the year.
This is what the journalism program has been built on, and it's really, really sad seeing that element, the main focus of this program, be taken away from us.
College officials say they are speaking with interested parties in the community who might be interested in taking on the broadcast license, but gave no timeline for any potential resolution. After a decade in London, Santa's House is up and running in St. Thomas for the first time.
People are just coming and having a great time, seeing Mrs. Claus and
myself, and we couldn't be happier.
The new location is at the Elgin County Railway Museum, and organizers say time slots have sold out every weekend since Mr. and Mrs. Claus moved in. It's part of a joint holiday theme at the museum, combined with the Christmas Tree Spectacular.
Everybody comes by after they've gone through the museum and they're curious. They're usually peeking in the windows at Santa and Mrs. Claus. It seems like it's a start of a new tradition for a lot of families, and we have seen a lot of families also come back from London and they tell us their stories that they've visited this house every year with their family, so it's nice that the tradition can continue.
Santa's residency at the museum wraps up December 23rd, while the trees are on display until December 28th. Later on CTV News, taking her shot at game show glory, the local woman and her Squid Game experience. Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in the telecom, utility and energy sectors. The TSX lost 141 points in New York. The Dow fell 216. The Nasdaq dropped 32. The Canadian dollar up 1/10 cent today. On commodity markets, gold dropped $25 an ounce, oil down $1.20 a barrel. The federal government is considering a new express entry category for foreign-trained doctors. As Mike Lucaturo reports, it's about getting more hands on deck as Canada deals with increasing patient demands.
Nearly 6 million Canadians do not have a primary care doctor. While the numbers have improved in the last 3 years, the government is trying to keep more physicians in this country.
We need more hands on deck.
In an effort to bolster the number of doctors in this country, the federal government is opening a new system to fast-track permanent residency for doctors who are working in Canada.
Many of these doctors are already treating patients in our communities. We cannot afford to lose them.
The program creates an express entry category for international doctors with at least 1 year Canadian experience in an eligible occupation. The federal government is reserving 5,000 spots for provincially nominated doctors, and those healthcare workers will get expedited 14-day work permit processing. The measures come as a major national survey shows more Canadians have a family doctor or nurse practitioner compared to 3 years ago. 5.9 million Canadians still don't have primary care. But those that do struggle with getting a timely or urgent appointment.
Less than 50% reported being able to get that. So we still have a long way to go in terms of providing timely care and care when people need it, even for those who do have a family doctor.
A past president of the Canadian Medical Association also wants to see logistical barriers moved out of the way.
I want to make sure that we're getting rid of any red tape, any barriers to having physicians moving around the country to help where needs are greatest, for physicians who are coming in from other countries to be able to contribute to the system.
The immigration minister says provinces and territories will be able to start nominating physicians for the Express Entry program in early 2026. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Hi there, just a few clouds overnight, but tracking a low pressure system. A clipper coming in for tomorrow, and it will bring some accumulating snow. We'll talk amounts coming up. First thing in the morning, feeling like minus 16. Thanks, Claudia, for this photo. I love the lion's mane. Minus 7 by 8 o'clock, and snow starts to move in. We'll look at snowfall amounts, as I mentioned, the possibility of a rain-snow mix midweek, followed by another blast of cold air. Lots of weather to take you through this evening.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie Atchison now, and we're talking at 6 about it's looking like a bit of a busy week for you from a meteorological perspective. Calm today with some sunshine. That's not the story the rest of the week.
No, this is going to be a good week in terms of following and tracking weather. Not so good if you don't love the snowfall and winter-like conditions. Today our high hit minus 7. That's our high. That's even colder than our normal overnight low. Normally we should be at above freezing at 2 degrees, getting close to records. That one minus 20 set back in 1977. Satellite radar showing a few flurries off Lake Huron, but other than that, nice and quiet. We are under the influence of high pressure, but that high is drifting off to the east, and our next clipper system arriving as we head into tomorrow. Overnight, minus 12 in the city. It'll feel like minus 18. So the cold air really gripping our region tonight and into tomorrow morning. But warmer conditions will follow. Next couple of days, we'll see temperatures hover 0 to +2. So the clipper that's coming in brings us a southerly flow tomorrow. So winds will be gusting out of the southwest, upwards of about 40-50 kilometers per hour. Snow arrives mid-morning and it will last into the afternoon. We are expecting 2 to 4 centimeters to start, and then potential for another 5 centimeters as we head into tomorrow night, totaling about 10 centimeters in London, 5 to 10 in Midwestern Ontario. So that includes here on Perth, Grey and Bruce County, and the risk for snow squalls developing in through the Bruce Peninsula with the snow squall watch in effect. Then another system comes in for Wednesday, this one bringing some mixed precipitation to the south. It'll be interesting to see how far this warm air can rise. So as that comes in, that will change snowfall amounts, and that could really impact the forecast for your Wednesday. But you can see how close that mild air is. So this is overnight into Wednesday morning. So this will be tomorrow night. And with that next weather push coming in, we will start to see some higher accumulations. Now, if we get a bit more mixing on Wednesday, those numbers will come down. But this is over the next 36 hours, close to 10 centimeters in London, a bit less towards Chatham and Windsor, and snowfall amounts a bit more as we head northward. It's going to be cold to start Tuesday morning with wind chills, as I mentioned, overnight near -18. We will start the day at sunrise with some peaks of sunshine before the cloud quickly moves in, and then snow arriving anytime after 8 a.m. So likely by about 9 to 10, we'll be into some light snowfall. That will carry us through the day and into the afternoon, evening with that southwest wind, 30 gusting to 50. The temperatures are headed up Wednesday with a chance of a rain-snow mix at 2 degrees. Now, Wednesday night, another cold front comes in. That will follow that next system. So a couple waves, it's almost like a 2-punch system. The first one coming tomorrow, the second punch on Wednesday with a rain-snow mix. And then that follows with a cold front that shifts our winds to the northwest. That will activate Lake Huron and lead to snow squalls developing Wednesday night. So flurries and snow squalls expected after a wintry mix during the day. And then flurries and squalls expected Thursday, -4, the temperature drops. -2 on Friday with flurries. On Saturday, -6 with snowfall, mainly cloudy Sunday at -5. And overnight lows below normal, daytime highs below normal with the exception of the next couple of days. Closer to 10 centimeters likely in Huron, Perth, Grey Bruce as well. We could see some big squalls develop this week. So snow flurries and snow squalls expected by Wednesday night. Chance of rain snow mix. Likely here on Perth, you'll be into a bit of mixing, but north of that, likely just some snowfall in through Grey and Bruce, which will mean much higher accumulations for you. Flurries and squalls on Thursday. The squalls are expected to become quite localized, so not widespread. So this is system snow tomorrow. And then as we head into Wednesday, another day with some system snow. Now the flurries and snow squalls will develop heading into Wednesday night, and then squalls expected on Thursday. Friday flurries and -2. Cold for the weekend, setting up -6 to -5 with the chance of snow continuing. So get ready, keep your brushes, your boots, your winter gear handy. We're in for a snowy week. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. A Grassroots initiative launched in the Old South neighborhood 6 years ago is growing. Organizers are gathering food and toys ahead of the holidays, supporting local families. With more on the campaign, here's Brian Bicknell.
The day begins with a collection of donations from South Secondary School. Load up the SUVs with food and toys, then it's back to the community hub in Wortley Village for organizing. All of the donated food and toys that fill these rooms is about to make the holidays happier for London families who need a helping hand.
So we have 250 families that we're helping this year locally with food, some toys, clothes. We meet wish lists for Roth Home House, Nova's Women's Shelter, and some of the schools in the area as well.
This is the Miley Group's 6th annual food and toy drive in partnership with the nonprofit Project Impact. The Grassroots initiative began in 2019 when partners Angie and Krista Reeves and their co-organizer Amanda DiLoretto decided they wanted to give back.
We see a lot of need, and what we're doing is just a small little thing, and we'd love to help more.
Because we go direct to families and we get wish lists from them that we're able to fulfill. When you don't see that same family on the list the next year, it instills that hope that we're making a difference.
My family was in the women's shelter on Christmas when I was a kid, and I remember my mom getting a gift that I thought was well intended and donated, but it just wasn't selected for her. So for me, from that day on, I decided as an adult, and when I was able to, I wanted to give back to our community in a more meaningful way.
After months of collecting and support from the community, delivery days are set for December 15 and 16. All from this community hub in Wortley Village, because a small group of people saw a great need and wanted to do something about it.
We've been there all ourselves, and so we just feel humbled to be able to do it, to be honest with you, and grateful that we have the community that supports us to do it each year.
And if you'd like to help out, you can drop off donations at the Miley Group office at 171 Wortley Road. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a whirlwind overseas adventure shooting a Netflix game show. It all started with an application submitted on a whim, leading to a priceless experience. Lauren Stallone reports.
Meet Selena Faruja, better known as Player 119 on Squid Game The Challenge.
Over 200,000 people applied to be on Squid Games, and only 456 people got chosen. So it was like, you're asking yourself all these questions like, why me?
Faruja says she was scrolling Instagram with her sister when an ad popped up encouraging them to apply.
I'm down to do anything all the time.
The sisters quickly put together an audition video.
Hey, Squid Games!
And the rest was history. Producers called them the Canadian Kardashians, but when Faruja's sister had to drop out, she didn't let that stop her from making her dreams a reality.
I went to my parents, I'm like, I'm going alone.
Filmed in the United Kingdom, the Netflix reality competition show has contestants compete in a series of high-stakes children's games in pursuit of a $4.5 million cash prize.
The experience I had when I was there was insane. Obviously, I wish I could have pushed myself and got myself further.
Even with an early exit, Faruja walked away with something worth more than millions, a chance to represent Canadians on a global stage.
I'm just a girl from London, Ontario, and anything is possible. And it's just even if I went on the show and I wanted to win and I wanted to walk out with that $4.56 million, that could have changed my life. You don't know where anything could take you, so just try.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.